7 Eyewitness News starts right now.
Protesters arrested, officers hospitalized.
Members of the crowd picking up a traffic cone and throwing it at the police.
Cars smashed and windows broken.
We're right in the middle of police throwing flashbangs.
May Day 2015, violent, destructive, but generally under control. Our team coverage begins with KIRO 7's Henry Rossoff.
And Henry, you were right in the middle of some of those chaotic moments.
First, let me start you with the numbers those chaotic moments led to. 15 arrested, 3 officers injured. The crowd was corralled back onto Capitol Hill away from downtown all night using flashbangs. This is a show from one of many bangs police officers used early and often. Only a half hour into the march, protesters started knocking down signs and garbage cans along Broadway. Then all of a sudden, police pumped pepper spray into the crowd. We did not see what led up to it, but we do know what followed it. Flashbang. Flashbang. Then as we were live on TV.
We're right in the middle of police throwing flashbangs. If you look back down there, protesters are throwing fireworks and the police are throwing flashbangs.
We saw arrests all along Broadway and no officers were injured. Most of the march moved on, but some stayed and confronted police. We saw smashed windows as we made our way downtown, but police turned around the crowd before we got that, pushing protesters away from an I-5 on-ramp. And again, they did not hesitate to throw flashbangs as they chased everyone quickly back up the hill, where the contained crowd stayed into the evening, lighting fires and drawing anarchy signs. Last year at this time, we still had a large crowd at Broadway and Pine, but everyone cleared out tonight at about 10:30 or so. We do expect to see some of those arrested protesters and so-called anarchists in court tomorrow. Some of the more serious charges may be held over to Monday. Live on Capitol Hill, Henry Rossoff, KIRO 7 Eyewitness News.
From police, we're getting a look at some of the weapons protesters were carrying. Hammers, wooden poles, rocks, a wrench, knives, even a large battery were all seized during one arrest. KIRO 7's Gary Horker saw firsthand the damage those weapons can do. Gary?
Including what happened to our own KIRO 7 Eyewitness News live truck, Steve. This was our first sign of trouble. Truck parked along Broadway, and then we come back to see this. You know, the folks who saw this happen say the protesters had flag sticks with big heavy bolts bolted into the bottom of them, and they smashed glass as they walked by. Violence seemed to happen in the matter of minutes. All along the marchers' route, there were reports of vandalism and violence. In addition to broken glass, spray-painted anarchy symbols were tagged everywhere you looked along Broadway. The vandalism extended to a construction site where Chopper 7 watched protesters pulling down fences and then grabbing construction materials. They also broke and dragged countless trash bins. Minutes later, eyewitnesses told us they saw Seattle police officers being hit with rocks and pieces of concrete in the crowd. What did the protesters do?
The protesters threw, like, rocks.
It prompted officers to race in and move the crowd back with flash grenades, and they made arrests. Move back! Did you see the police officers get hurt? There were 3 hurt.
Yeah, I watched them all get hurt. I was right there.
Some eyewitnesses told us officers were physically taken down by the protesters. Where were the police officers hurt? Did you see?
They were drugged to the ground. They were literally dragged.
They were dragged into the crowd?
Yeah. They were dragged
by the protesters?
From protesters, yeah. They were dragged by their body armor.
SPD has not yet confirmed eyewitness accounts, but I heard more than one officer say, I got hit with something while they were riding across on their bicycle. So I'm going to say by daylight tomorrow, we're going to hear several accounts of SPD officers being hit with objects. As far as vandalism concerns, post-violence, when all of the protesters were herded here into the campus of Seattle Community College, they took it out on sculptures like this one. Meanwhile, we're live on Capitol Hill. I'm KIRO 7 Eyewitness News.
Back to those injured officers, KIRO 7's is live right now at Harborview Medical Center, where one officer was just released. Allison?
Key West, Monique, he's one of the lucky ones. 2 more officers are still here at Harborview in serious condition. One of them in the burn unit being treated for burns from a flashbang device. We want to show you some video. Just in the last 5 minutes, we watched this officer walk out of Harborview. He had a dislocated shoulder. They relocated it here at the hospital, sent him home. Officers met him outside, but while he was still in the hospital, he got a visit tonight from the mayor and also from Chief O'Toole. Here's what they told us on their way out.
We just visited 3 of the police officers who were injured tonight in the violence tonight. They're doing good. It's been difficult, obviously, evening for them. One of them just had his shoulder relocated. It had been dislocated.
When the march became violent very early on, we made a decision to stop it right then and there.
SPD said officers planned to escort marchers throughout downtown Seattle. When it turned violent, they stopped them from marching and pushed them back to Seattle Central Community College, where this all started. We're going to see what else we can find out about the other officer who is still here and let you know if any other officers get out of the hospital. Live at Harborview, Allison Grandy, KIRO 7 Eyewitness News.
It seems almost every demonstration was quick to shoot video of police, but this year officers are turning the tables. It's the first May Day that officers are using body cams. Live on Capitol, David, didn't see many officers using cameras.
Yeah, I saw one officer wearing one, but I know that a dozen officers in all were wearing body cameras. But SPD says that in future May Days, all officers could be equipped with the body cameras.
As people ducked for cover when loud bangs went off, others were there taking video. Cell phones were constantly pointed at cops.
Take a couple steps back. So they don't take pictures to the police when they do something wrong.
When you have this camera in front of what they're doing, do you think that that makes a difference in their behavior?
It makes a huge difference in their behavior.
But protesters should also know that this year more Seattle police officers are taking video of them. Last year they used GoPro cameras and dashcam video. In addition to those cameras, they're now wearing these body cameras under a pilot program that started in December. Only a dozen East Precinct officers are using them now. They are the officers assigned to the Capitol Hill area.
No, I do think it's one step in the right direction, but it seems like they're never going to do nothing about it. If officers can just turn off cameras and just do as they please, then really it doesn't do anything.
SPD is hoping the cameras will help officers use less force when dealing with protesters. People we talk to are hoping for the same.
I'd definitely like to see peaceful. I'd definitely like to see cops not acting crazy on people.
Now, we're asking SPD if the body cameras did make a difference this year. They'll be reviewing the video starting next week. Live on Capitol Hill tonight, David Ham, KIRO 7 Eyewitness News.
May Day coverage continues through the night on KIROTV.com. Updates on arrests, the injured officers, and damage totals will all be there as new details come in.